Good afternoon, everybody. It is Angie Atkinson, and I am here with the lovely and talented Lise Colucci. Lise, welcome back.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. I'm according to my screen, I'm still not there yet. So I feel
you're not there yet.
Well, I mean, now I'm here. Okay.
I see you. Yeah.
Kind of going slow. Yeah. Okay. All right. So everybody, we are here today to talk about communal narcissism and the things that go with that. So group narcissism, what happens when you have a lot of people following the same type of narcissistic system behavior. Please, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Talk about it.
Me? Okay. Well, oftentimes, like the way I understand it is you may have a very charming, often covert narcissist who's the more vulnerable type who is able to get themselves into a group situation, be it a spiritual, religious, work, social group, whatever it is, and then sort of have they basically have a bunch of, it's like a harem around them that then support the narcissist and their behaviors, because the narcissist gives them half-truths and partial truths, usually then attacking and smearing someone else. So when you have communal narcissism, you leave a narcissist who is that type of narcissist, that's often what people face, is that type of smear. So that's one way I understand it. What else?
So you see it a lot in like churches, in cults, schools, cities, towns, pretty much anywhere that a lot of people get together. Okay. So there are so many different ways that it can, even in families, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Where they all kind of follow the same. Yeah. Okay. Before we go on, I just want to say this. Thank you to the admin team for the mod squad being here. And if everyone will keep an eye on the chat, Huffle Mom will share our reminders and things you need to know about how to get back in touch with us and everything. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little distracted today. All right. So Lise, have you personally experienced communal narcissism or seen it in person?
I've seen it in a social group where there was, it was actually at a private school, where I asked a question to the headmaster or whatever he was, who I assumed was narcissistic. His narcissistic behaviors, he's extremely, singles someone out, hates them, and then gathers everyone else around him to support him. And basically I was the singled out one because I asked a question that you dare not ask, which was, can we come to our kids' violin lessons? Right? But that was like me doubting and questioning everything about them, all over the place. It was a threat. So I asked something that somehow threatened his authority, turned the whole community against me. They sat and had a meeting to which I left in tears, to the point where I was like, just couldn't even drive, so upset. So it was like, ridiculous, right? Over nothing. But I felt attacked by the community for asking a simple question. And it wasn't the community. It was the community supporting a narcissistic motive of a toxic person. So
there it is.
There's an example. That was terrible. Yeah.
No, I had a similar, it wasn't exact, but I had a kid in dance class at one point, and I remember the dance teacher would not let anybody watch. None of the parents could watch what was going on in there. And I thought that was the weirdest thing.
Weird, right? Weird.
So of course, you know what I did? I went around the crack of the window.
Yep. Well, guess what I did after? I went to the violin lessons. I'm like, if you're going to put me through all that, I'm going.
Right.
Yeah.
You almost have to, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I've seen a few comments in the chat about my appearance today. And here's the thing. So I did this silly TikTok earlier, and I should have even done it, but it was really funny. And I glammed up, and I don't know if I'm glammed up now, but that's what I was doing for the TikTok. So it's just leftover TikTok makeup. Anyway, thank you. Okay.
Not that it's seconds or anything, guys, because she.
No. It was today. It was just a double whammy.
It's a double whammy. Yep.
Right. Anyway, okay. So let me scroll on up, and thanks everybody, and see what we have, because I thought I saw a couple of comments. Okay, help a mom, thank you for doing that. Ellen C says great topic. And Colleen, hey girl, Colleen's here.
Hey,
Hello,
Colleen.
You know, if you want to pop in here with us, we'll just bring you right on in. Just let us know. Okay. Colleen's one of our fellow coaches at Community, in case anyone doesn't know. Let's see. All right. Okay. Amanda, I'm trying to see what Amanda said she handled. Maybe I need to go into live chat if I'm going to leave it now. Okay, here we go. So Amanda said she's been through something like this. I'm trying to see. Hello, Redheaded Riding Hood, Phoenix Raven. Oh, she saw the TikTok. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I lost it. I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to find the comment from Amanda, but I don't see anything except for where she says it was crazy and she handled it. Or we handled it. Somebody handled it better. She said, I probably would have went to jail. Who? Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm missing the comment. If anybody knows the comment that Amanda's talking about, please add it back in. All right, Lise. So I'll tell you, I mentioned earlier the churches thing, and this session is not necessarily about religious abuse, but it plays into communal narcissism, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, because it's a combination of religious abuse and communal narcissism within a church or spiritual community.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think and Ellen C, by the way, says we both look great all the time. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, I know that growing up, I have to say that the church that I went to growing up was not in itself negative, but there were certain groups within the church maybe that were a little negative. I remember getting in trouble for calling the pastor and his people cronies. It's cronies, I said, when I was about in high school somewhere. I don't know if you ever called a pastor somebody with cronies, but they didn't like it. Didn't go over well. Oh, Amanda was talking about the violin lessons. Thank you, Amanda. At least she said you did better than she did with the violin lessons, and she probably would have went to jail.
She what?
She said you did better than she did with the violin lessons. She probably would have went to jail.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. We all feel that we have better kids a little bit, right? Like the mama bear nest comes out. I had 2 different clients this week talk about mama bear. You know, the feeling that you get when your kids are in danger.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, this was more me in danger because I mean, what's it going to hurt? It's a violin lesson. So it wasn't like, I didn't really need to defend much. It was more like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where it was being scapegoated is what I was being, because honestly, everyone in the room that was saying, you know, what's the matter with you? Why do you need to go to a violin lesson was allowed to go. It was just me and a handful of people that weren't.
Isn't that strange?
Well, no, because it's a narcissist and I was his target.
I got you. Right.
You know,
okay.
For no reason other than whatever. You know.
You spoke up or something.
I don't know. I showed up as myself and didn't sit and kiss his butt. That's what happened.
How dare you? Yeah. No, but talk about it. I mean, but what?
No, it's. What do you mean?
I mean, you said you showed up as yourself and didn't kiss his butt. I'm interested in.
Oh, just showing up and being yourself in a group of people. When you have a narcissist needing to conduct how everyone behaves, that doesn't go over well. And
so right.
Yeah.
They don't like it. I've noticed, yeah. And I've seen, oh, okay, here's a great example. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's on another platform that I am participating in at this moment, there's a bunch of stupid, I shouldn't say that. So there's some strange drama happening in a certain area, and I can't believe how this is a perfect example of this concept. Actually, that's interesting. But basically, a bunch of creators are ganging up on people who are on this particular site and doing this stuff, and it's craziness. So, hey, Piper.
So they're ganging up on the people who. So some people are doing something, and then they're ganging up on people who are opposing it, or are.
It's basically they're running a little smear campaign because one person stood up and said this person harassed me. It's a whole bunch of
okay. Yeah.
I don't do that.
You can see how it works. It gives them not only supply but power and dominance.
Yes.
And then they get away with whatever the heck it is they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Without question. Nobody questions it.
That's right. That's
Or
right.
if they do, they go, yeah, I know, but like, the people that follow,
Right.
yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Okay. We have Ella's back. Wait a minute. I just
I
saw
think the
something.
hard part is you lose a lot of friends in those kind of situations when it is personal, when it
No
is,
doubt.
in your church or in your social group or wherever, you end up on the outside because you can't follow. Once you see it, you can't follow it. And
Yes.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew of a communal narcissist who was in a church band, and he had everyone convinced he was the victim when she left him, and she was in the band too. So they basically said, you guys need to reconcile. You need to forgive him. The only way you're allowed to be here is if you offer forgiveness to him. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's groping her. He's hoovering her, like literally behind the scenes, like behind the curtains at the church. And then when she says something, everyone's like, "Oh, you need to," because he had everyone convinced. And yeah,
That's
it's sick. Yeah. And yeah, my suggestion to her was maybe find another church for a little while.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry, but
on that same note, I had a client who's still struggling. I think she's finally stopped going to this church, but she was very involved in the church. Her kids were involved. That's the only reason she didn't switch churches. And it was just this ongoing, like, I think this is now okay. It was this ongoing um like witch hunt, and she was is the sweetest person you could possibly know. And she never did anything to anyone. And they all thought she was going to try to steal their hut. She's a young widow. And her husband, he passed away. He was a member of the church. And as soon as he passed away, even before that, these certain ladies, this little group of, let's call them kitchen ladies, they just went crazy and just, Colleen said she's not ready for the camera at the moment. She had to say hi because we're both as gorgeous as always. Thank you, love. Anyway, but yeah, so it was a similar situation is my point. And they literally ruined, they were horrible to her to the point that she really didn't even get the opportunity to properly mourn her husband. And they didn't support her in ways they should have been. It was just really awful. And finally she, realized it's not getting any better. And I think she's moving on now from the church, but it should, that group should have been there to support her, more than anything else at that time. Right.
yeah, and what you're describing here is making me think sometimes when you're not the person who is, when you're not in the know of who is narcissistic, it's hard to tell because it becomes a system.
Right.
It's not just like someone going, go do that, and everyone goes, we'll go do that. It becomes a way of being. And whether people have fleas or they're toxic themselves, or they don't know better and they're following blindly without thinking,
Right.
you can't tell who the toxic person is in that
Right.
situation. Right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, I was mentioning to you before we got online here, that there was an article in the Atlantic recently about collective narcissism. And something I thought, there's a couple of interesting points I wanted to pull out of that. Some people think, well, it's tribalism, but it's not really what it is. And this article talks about, yeah, humans are inherently tribal, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Having a healthy social identity can have an immensely positive impact on well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Totally true, right? Collective narcissists, though, are often more focused on out-group prejudice than in-group loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
In its most extreme form, group narcissism can fuel political radicalism. We're not going to talk about politics, but
it's there. Yeah.
Political radicalism and potentially even violence. And then it talks about in everyday settings, it can keep groups from listening to one another, can lead them to reduce people to the other side or on the other side to one-dimensional characters. Clearly this is something that, there are some obvious examples in society right now we're not going to talk about. But basically, while they might differ in the way that they are, why they think they're superior, they, maybe they think they're like the most moral or the most sophisticated or talented or whatever. They might even think that they're divinely, predisposed to this greatness or whatever, but they're always resentful of other groups, hypersensitive to any perceived threat, etc. And And of course, as I mentioned, it often breeds prejudice of some kind or another. So, and again, we're not going to go into any specific, but it's legitimate. So, and the worst part is, I think that they don't necessarily, the group members don't really benefit from this type of ideology either. And they actually get hurt more in some ways, depending on the situation, by being ousted or whatever,
Right.
So, yeah. Hey, wait a minute. I just saw a question from, hey, Bonnie, another member of our amazing mod squad in the house today. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Peggy says, yeah, Lise, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the truth. Yeah. Let's see, wait a minute. Oh, Red Riding Hood says, I seem to be a target for bullies and abusers. I can't even stop listening to this stuff. When I do, it seems 5 toxic people enter my life. Wow. That's tough. And I think we can all kind of relate a little bit, because it seems like no matter what we do, even if we clear our inner circle pretty well, which I think Lisa and I have both done that one for the most part. There's still people right outside the inner circle, aren't there? Poking at it.
Well, I guess I'm way more, what's the word? Non-social, not antisocial. I'm just not like, I don't need a bunch of people around me. So I don't.
Right. Same.
I don't have it as much as some, but it happens.
But I know that in your own, and I'm not going to talk about it or anything, but I know there's one particular pokey person.
Whether you like it or not, there they are. And there's get rid of them, because there's no way possible.
Yeah. Right. So that's why we keep inner circles tight. Yeah. And as Helpful Mom says, forgiving your abuser does not mean allowing it. This is not connected exactly, but it's a nice refresher. Forgiving your abuser doesn't mean allowing yourself to be a doormat. Forgiveness is not the same as trust. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's a personal thing, forgiveness, not forgiveness is not something someone else should tell you to do. It's a choice someone has to make for themselves, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then Peggy adds to what you were talking about earlier. Sometimes and then it's confirmed over and over, and that's when you can't unsee it, and others won't see it sometimes.
Yep.
The truth. Yep.
Well, if they see it, then they have to change, and if they have to see it, they have to admit they've been part of it.
Yeah.
Ouch. Right?
Yeah. Oh my God, those conversations.
Well, I mean, it was interesting, because when that happened, there was a woman in the parking lot, and it was a sister of one of the women that were in the group meeting. And she saw me leave, and she came over and asked what happened. And I spewed it out I was like, tears were flying this direction, that like a cartoon. And I spewed everything and told her, and I'm like, I'm out of here. I can't be in this place anymore. And she was one of those types that's like, Mama Bear, do not mess with someone. And she saw me, and she went into that meeting and told them all where to put it. They wouldn't attack her, because she was, first of all, she was part of, it's a long story, but there was no way they would have attacked her. Right. So I told the right person. But in any case, I had 3 women in the group apologize humbly and realize they were part of something. And the rest of them could not admit they were part of something that was that toxic.
It's too bad.
They had to defend and defend and defend. And so that's what happens with communal narcissism, though, is because if the main abuser, would have said, I'm sorry, blah, 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 they all could have saved face.
Right.
And they could have admitted it. But when you have that, there's people that aren't narcissists, but they're still pretty dang toxic.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this is a really important point you're making, because in communal narcissism, that's what's happening. You have 1 or 2 really toxic people, and other people becoming toxic with them as part of their being.
Or gossip lovers, or people who have toxic traits that are good people, but they got some issues.
They got some fleas or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see here. What did I see? Oh, energy vampires. Yeah, no doubt. Yes. I think a lot of us are trying to find the most effective treatments and formulas. I don't know what that's about. Okay. Oh, yeah. Alpha Mom says, would you mind adding fleas to the list of potential topics to check? Yeah. And that's really part of what we're, kind of talking about here. But wait a minute. What does this say? Red Riding Hood says, I've been accused of labeling everyone ASS holes
Mhm.
or narcissist. If right, I'm going to keep basically labeling everyone a narcissist when I say toxic person, whatever you call it. I need people like Angie to help me deal with them. Well, that's why we're here.
We get accused of labeling everyone too.
Oh yeah.
You're not alone
Yeah.
in that.
And the people who do the accusing are the people who someone else has taken our information and labeled. Usually, I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah. Mhm.
you know, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Christy. Let's see here. And then we have, is this Liz, L-I-S? Is this, okay, I don't know. She might be. Is this the Liz I know? Okay. Anyway, let's see here. So, sorry. Okay, Ellen C says, going through it too. I just focus on progress, not perfection. As long as you know what's going on, that's all that counts. And that's true. And as Peggy adds, it's difficult to admit you've been duped. That's really true.
There's that too. Mm-hmm.
It's such a, and that really is, because even just going through what I went through, you know, growing up, I certainly never thought that I would, sorry, I'm reading the chat and trying to talk at the same time. Never good.
Okay, it's impossible.
Your turn. Try to talk. Okay. I was trying to see. Okay, so Liz says, and I'm not sure if this is the Liz I think it is. I don't think it is. She says, there was a man at my church that grabbed my leg during prayer. I told my ex, and he said I was being too sensitive. And finally, when I got upset, we went to the bishop. Who dismissed the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. That's a very common, I think it just display of communal narcissism, because he was excusing what some people would call like sexual harassment, right? At least,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tweety US News says manipulative might be a better label. Well, that label does fit quite a bit.
I like the label narcissistic traits.
Yeah.
They're displaying narcissistic traits because, or they have narcissistic traits, because we can't diagnose anyone. I mean, Angie and I can see it. We can hear it. We are around it all day long, listening to different people, and we still can't. We're not qualified to diagnose anyone.
No, and even if we were, we couldn't diagnose a person from somebody else's description.
Exactly. So we're
not talking to the narcissist.
Exactly, but we certainly can see the traits, and we know the traits. Yeah.
Absolutely. Red Riding Hood says, I bought into their BS. I was a conservative Christian, right wing for 30 years until 2016. You know what happened then, right? Oh my gosh, I'm trying to know. Yeah, mom was right. Oops. Okay. She said, I'm an ex. I'm trying to. She's no longer a conservative Christian, I think is the point, because she went through all those things.
Well, it can break down your personal belief system when you're around, because not all conservative Christians are
that's right,
or toxic or wrong. They have their own opinions and viewpoints that, obviously you've believed it for a reason, but it can break down. I've had many people say they've left the church and religion entirely. And that makes me sad, because they've had to let go of something that is a moral and spiritual truth for them in order to be safe.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. And
if it is their truth, you know what I mean? If it is, like people have said, I wish I hadn't lost that.
Right. Well, no, Redheaded Riding Hood did not lose it totally. She said, now I know I can be a Christian and a liberal.
Yeah, you go. Well,
so yeah, good for you.
Not that, I mean, again, with politics, to not talk about politics, but talking about it's on both sides. So there you go.
That's all we'll say.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. This is, I mean, we're in a society where gaslighting is the norm.
Right.
And we're raised on it.
Yeah, they're doing it. Yeah, well, we'll stop there.
Not politics. I'm just mean in general, just society.
In general.
Yeah, in general. Yeah. And we'll stop there.
Yes. And a lot of us grew up with parents who did it and everything else,
exactly.
So yeah. I want to just touch base on with Bonnie on this. And she says, so where's Dana gone? She do live chats. Dana is dealing with some personal stuff. She just recently gave us all an update that she will be back at some point. She's just going through some things. And so we're going to support her self-care. And when she comes back, then Lisa and I will move to another day, or Dana and I will move to another day, either way.
Somebody will move somewhere.
Yeah. And we'll still be here. So either way. But just, sometimes you need to do something like that. And doing what we do is it can be high pressure, even though we're not like all, Hollywood over here. When you've gone through abuse and you talk about abuse all day long, every day, sometimes you just need a minute. So we're just going to send her love and light and move on, and she'll be back when she's ready. I applaud her efforts to take care of herself. So, okay. But yeah, she said she'll be back at some point. Okay. So now this I did not know. How did I miss this? Okay.
Wow.
Hufflemom and Jacqueline are LDS. I did not realize that. There's been some policy changes recently to address that kind of stuff, but of course, it still goes on. I did not know that. My mother who raised me grew up that way. But yeah, okay. Grew up LDS. The other one was Jewish. Or grew up, anyway, doesn't matter. Okay. People wonder why I'm a little bit weird about religion. I totally support everyone's right to religion, and whatever they're into is fine with me, but yeah, it's interesting.
You've had a lot of stuff thrown at you, and yeah.
Yeah, it's all a mess. Okay. Mom and I have a baby. Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, here we go. Sorry.
Okay.
Peggy says to Liz, I would have jumped up and very loudly interrupted the prayer and told him to take his hands off me. I would not have cared a whit about saying that. I'll tell you what, if any of us ever had the nerve to do that, that would rock that church, I bet, and it would probably begin to resolve the problem. I bet. But when you get into a situation like that, then especially if there's somebody who's like respected in that group, it can get real ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Bonnie says some dude at the senior center kept being too touchy-feely. The other ladies told him to knock it off, and he did, but he still goes after us. Jeez, oh, Pete. All right, well, anyway. Yeah, BC Barnett says that's a doozy. Liz confirmed this was within the same denomination. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Policies were changed. Okay. So that was the LD. I'm not going to talk about the specific, because I know very good LDS people who are amazing and awesome, and just like Jack and Mom as well. But yeah, LNC, we may have more in common than and I thought. She says her mother's Christian, her father's Jewish, and she, well, let's say I went a different route, but it's who I am and it works for me. We are on the same page, baby. Oh, Ella is a street shaman. I'm so interested in that. Is your dog talking to you again? What's
My
happening?
dog is digging a hole
in the yard.
right at the window. Right? It's like as deep as her shoulders now. And I washed them yesterday because they dug a hole. So now, and it's muddy. So now I get to wash dogs and fill a hole.
Is it cold where you are right now?
It's yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
It's like in the 30s here.
Oh, it's not that cold. Yeah, it's not that cold. It's just damp and cool. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that would be an outside bath kind of situation.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Yeah, it's two of them. Yeah, they're going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're having a grand time. Probably. Sorry, squirrel. If only there was a squirrel, they would chase the squirrel and leave the hole, and I wouldn't have to
be a little cleaner about it.
Sorry, we are not talking about the topic here, are we? Anyway.
Yeah, we're off topic. Sorry,
we're
guys.
off topic.
Yeah. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to start to tear apart any specific church or religious group or anything, because I think that's really important that we respect everyone's beliefs and we understand that in every single group there are some scumbags, but there are a lot of really good people too, no matter which group we're talking about. Okay. Unless we're talking about like the KKK or something, they're all scumbags.
Yeah.
No disrespect. but in general, right? Okay. So well, now we're talking about the weather. Hey, Linnell. Yeah. Bonnie, that was, the people, she said the narcs at the senior center. I think we call those collapsed narcissists.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ellen, you know what? We do need a squirrel emoji. I'm gonna make one of those for the members of the channel.
Whenever we're looking this way.
Well, like
What? Oh, now she's laying in the hole. Good. Just lay in the hole. Just do it. Just lay in the hole.
the muddy hole.
Muddy hole.
The dog. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh.
And they like, I wish I could show you. They look so proud. They're like, we're in the hole.
We made a hole to lay in. It's warm and stuff. Yes.
Super,
Okay.
super cozy. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Squirrels.
All right. Liz says, I was unfortunately naive and just joined the LDS church in order to marry my ex. I've seen that more often than you might expect. He didn't stand up for me until I created a small scene. I've left the church due to lots of reasons, mainly because my ex is there and probably badmouthed me, especially because he's your ex, and in that church they don't do exes well, do they? And also because he's a narcissist, which means he's smearing you and everything. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Linnell said, I lived in that church and I could say this. I finally learned my mom loves her church and will lie in that until she isn't. You know what? I think that's the thing. Wait, sorry about that. Whatever. Good. I hope I didn't upset anyone. Did I miss something? I'm not sure. Anyway, look, here's my bottom line on church or any religion, and we're not actually talking about that, but just let me throw it out there one more time.
Sneezing.
Whatever works. What? Tell me what is. Oh, sneezing. Okay.
Sneeze. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean,
whatever.
Yeah, we're just trying to like.
It's whatever way you need. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
in
ahead.
general, and it could be in. I mean, it'd be like saying, working at, such and such corporation. It could be any corporation. Working.
Well,
at,
just like you need to make money, so you have to have a job. I mean, you need to connect to something bigger than yourself. So whatever way works for you, like I support you in doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Personally, I have my own thing I do, and it works great for me. And I tell people who are interested, and I don't tell anyone else. So that's it. It's nothing bad. It's just
no. It's not about anybody else, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I was just thinking though, while we were sitting here, that this also happens in the workplace. This communal narcissism is huge when it happens in the workplace. And then not only is your the stress level of dealing with being scapegoated by a community, you also, your livelihood, your occupation, your career, all of that could be threatened.
Right. Well, exactly. And when you go back to just communal narcissism in general, I mean, like think about high school.
Oh my God.
The mean girls, the mean boys, or whatever, all the different cliques, the groups. It's not just about religion. That's the point. It's about groups of people being influenced by one another and sort of building the energy in that way. And that ends up where some people are good people and some, like, if you wanted to, you could say that we are sitting here engaging in communal narcissism because none of us like narcissists, which is absolutely false. That's not what we're doing. But I'm just saying, the point is being self-aware of whatever group you're in, recognizing your own self and your own stuff. That's what's important.
Right. I think a red flag for me is when I'm not able to be myself in a group. Not that I have to be like 100% myself, but nobody wants that. but really, when you're not able, like
right.
You'll be cut down, you'll be shot down, you'll be scapegoated. If you speak out, if you speak up, if you have an opinion that is different from the group's opinion, that's when it becomes. So I guess what's important is how do you, when you're in a community situation, how do you find something safe, and how do you know what's safe?
That's the thing, and that's the problem. So I think it's about, for me, I mean, absolutely, like you said, watching for the red flags, certainly, but it's about self-knowledge and what you said about, do I have to put on too much of a mask to be with these people? Right? I mean,
my friend used to call it editing herself. I don't want to be in a group where I have to edit myself all the time.
Yeah. Or censor yourself, or worry that what you say is going to get you thrown out of the group. And I don't want to be in those groups either. Thank you.
And sometimes it's not even what you say. It's just like you have to fully, just like with any narcissistic situation, you have to become what their version of you that they want you to be.
Yeah. I believe in reading the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a certain amount of, I want to say self-censoring I will do depending on the situation. So like if I walk into a room and everybody is sitting there looking all sad, I'm probably not going to be like, well, let me tell you some jokes, people. You know what I mean? But if you know, because I don't know why they're sad. Maybe it's really
something happens,
you know, but I mean, right, if I was, I have this feeling you've done that before. I've done
probably,
that before.
probably.
You just had this look on your face, like
I'm picturing doing it, but yeah.
I know that's kind of what I saw. And sometimes it might be a good thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe in certain situations.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Well, it's when people are, one red flag for me is when people are trying to pull attention back toward themselves. I'm really sensitive to picking that up.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone wants a little attention. That's okay. It's when, like, if somebody walked in the room and was completely trying to pull the attention toward them, I would think they're the toxic one. Not just being funny in a sad room. That's different than
right, totally.
It's all about me, like you can feel it. And that, yeah. And when it's a group, you can feel that it's like they're feeding something. That's what it feels like to me. Like that they're feeding off of something, or they're feeding something within the group. And I just don't, that is like, bye, no thanks.
Absolutely. That's a really astute observation. That's really true. I can just think, I'm just thinking about that as you're talking about it. I'm going, yeah, I've seen this. I've seen it. And then there are healthy groups too, though. Let's bring this to it.
Yeah.
There's so many, right? And sometimes people don't like, toxic people don't enjoy the healthy groups. Like, for example, I think, and you should correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if Colleen's still here. I'm sure she can. But our admin group, I think, for SPAN is pretty healthy at this point. I mean, I think we're all on the same page, and we pull people out of the groups who are doing the things they're not supposed to do. People get really mad at us sometimes for doing that, but it's to keep everyone else safe in the group. And that's why I think for the most part, our SPAN-only support groups are, am I off?
No, I think they're probably, have been in a lot of different groups, and they're one of the safer, toot my own horn, but we're one of the safer ones out there. But really, it's because of we get along and we all agree, and we just maintain the rules, and we have the rules in place for a reason, so that these things don't happen, so that we're not having one person go, oh, I don't like that. And, know,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we do be like, I don't like that, but
but then we talk about it, right? And then go, it's a healthy group. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that there are, but no one's perfect. But I'll tell you something that I think I've seen with you, Lise, with your group coaching, that I think you do pretty well with keeping those groups pretty straight and healthy, and communicate often, talk about it.
No, it is like the number one goal to keep it safe and healthy. And because we have so many people, everyone in there has issues with trust issues, has reasonable issues with trust, and feeling safe, feeling not safe.
Yeah.
And so, and many people in the groups have never had the experience of being heard in a safe way, being heard by a group in a safe way, being safe within a group at all, or with one-on-one. So it's priority. Yeah.
No doubt about it.
And I've had to make some hard calls in there.
I know you have, but I've heard nothing but, I've never heard one negative thing from anybody. Maybe they just didn't call me, but everybody that I've ever heard about these groups, they were like, this group saved my life. Lise is amazing. They go on and on about it, girl. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It is good because it's really good for survivors.
It is. Yeah. That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, we really, Anyway, so if anybody does want to get involved in one of Lisa's groups, they're surprisingly inexpensive, and they are you can just reach out to Lise directly, or you can go to queenbeing.com/groups with an SGROUPS, and it'll direct you right to the place to sign up. And I think didn't we put a testimonial video on that page?
On that page.
So if you want to see what people say about it, you can see that there. Yeah. Okay. All right, moving right along. Let's see. What are your thoughts about, here's a question. What are your thoughts about a parent and sibling slandering the scapegoat relentlessly throughout that scapegoat's life. It's something they've done with the scapegoat's employer, school, etc. Awful.
So like they infiltrate the person's entire life by.
Yeah. My parents and sibling have my children taken away. So I absolutely feel you. I think it's absolutely unacceptable. I think if I were you, I would go no contact. In fact, I am me and I did go no contact.
I am me and I went no contact. But yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do. I would go no contact. I would absolutely cut them out of my life because obviously they're hurting your life, or the scapegoat you're speaking about. I mean, obviously
they're hurting the scapegoat's life.
Right. And when you are the scapegoat and you cannot get away from the you can't get away from the poison, you know, that's why you go no contact, because turns out my life doesn't totally suck. I didn't know that until I was like 35 years old and went no contact. Okay. So yeah, it takes getting away to see, because I was just thinking that a lot of people in that situation, there's half of them that believes it about themselves. Yes.
Well, yeah, you know, they're telling my employer this, but I am that way. I am not good enough. I am whatever. And it's getting away that helps you see that that's not true.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay. This is sorry. Okay. Redheaded Riding Hood, there's Discord group and Facebook as well. Yes, we have the Discord group. Now the Discord group is for people who are members of this channel. But we also have of course, the Facebook group, and then we have the off Facebook group at MySpanily, which myspanily.com, I think is the, anyway, but that one we may or may not be moving that in the near future. I'm not sure yet, or we might be, well, don't worry about it. You can go there now. It's an off Facebook. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm seeing some really good, Ellen says, I stick with people that have, that's something I want to work toward. I like that. Yes, Colleen agrees. We have the best admin team. Yes, we do. Okay. I really love our team. It's such a good connected team, and we're all like, I think we understand each other thoroughly, as well as what we're doing there. And I love our people. Okay. Let's see. Ella says, I can relate to that very much. I think I'm more hypervigilant than anything. I think hypervigilance is very common for survivors, right?
Hypervigilance is, it's part of what happens when we're having emotional flashbacks, or triggers that lead to emotional flashbacks. It's a symptom of CPTSD. It's all kinds of, Yes. And it's something that you have to either accept or work on. And, I've done a little bit of both. And I think in some areas it doesn't go away, and in others you can remedy it. Yeah. I
talk myself down sometimes, almost all the time, because it's almost never necessary, but sometimes it is. Like every now and then you really do need to be aware. But hypervigilance is dangerous for your body. So you try to, because it messes with it'll lead you to adrenal exhaustion and all kinds of other bad stuff. And it's not healthy. It's not good. So try to just take a deep breath, and we'll talk about that next time if you want. Maybe how to relieve hypervigilance a little bit. Because it can be very dangerous, we're off topic, but look into polyvagal theory. Are you kidding me? Okay, sorry. Here really quick. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, sorry. My kid.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. It's okay on a stream. Okay.
Otherwise, they'll call again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should bring her out. Speaking of, the kid's okay. It's not a problem. They're just okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. And then there are those who have difficulty reading a room, Peggy says, or even reading faces. Those on the autistic spectrum. So it's impossible to make a snap opinion or diagnosis. That's absolutely true. And I think that something I've learned as I've gotten older is I'm really good at reading most people. But there are some people who they literally, okay, I'll tell a story. there was once a lovely lady, and she was a victim of narcissistic abuse recovery, narcissistic abuse. Anyway, a group of people she was involved with started to attack her because she called out a sexual harasser. One of the people in the group came at her and said, "I'm so sorry that this is happening. I'm here for you. We're friends. I got your back, girl. Tell me all your stuff." And she told her all the stuff. And then this girl literally turned around the very next day and spread all her stuff all over the place.
Whoa.
It's so toxic. And that, I can't believe there are people like that in the world. Okay, when you pretend to be someone's friend to get information from them, especially someone who's a victim of abuse, but someone at all, I think that's the worst possible thing you could ever do to a person, ever, ever, ever. And I'm horrified by it, and it makes me trust no one. So I just thought I'd share that with you. But this was not me. This was someone I know. But it's shocking and upsetting. And the reason for telling you that is because I've had people kind of do that to me. Similar stories. Well, one person who came to me and, in my personal life and said, can I talk to you once a week and work out these issues I'm having? I'm said, all right, I didn't charge them anything. And they came and did that. And then in one moment, I was trying to boost this person's self-esteem. And then they went ballistic and took what I said and twisted it. It became a whole larger group issue with people who weren't even involved with this. And I had no idea it was even no change on the face. No, there's such a thing as a very young psychopath or sociopath. But the point is, reading a room seems easy for most of us or some of us. But even me, who I think I'm really good at it, sometimes I read it wrong. And so I just try to be really careful.
Yeah.
There are people out there who, and not a lot, but there are those people, and they're on that spectrum for sure, I would guess, that narcissism spectrum. But anyway.
I think there's a balance between the reading room, okay, and then maybe you're not good at it, maybe you are good at it, maybe there's parts of it you're good at, parts you're not, whatever that is for you. But then there's also time and observation.
Yeah.
So if you spend enough time and you observe people outside of how they're reacting to you and watch how then you can see, you get a better read of the room then.
Right.
Like, wait a minute, these people are really nasty when no one's looking.
Yes.
And they're so sweet when everyone's there. Okay, I don't know.
Those are the most,
these people like to gossip about people that aren't in this group a lot. Only when there's only 5 of them. But they're gossiping a lot. That means they're going to gossip about me when I'm not in the room, probably. You know what I mean? We learn to read plus observe. That's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's right. Yeah. And what? Yeah. Okay. Colleen says, one thing I always appreciated when I first became one of the family members was how safe it felt within the group. It was my safe place, 100%. We love that. So Jack is confused about, or some people are confused about how this is all okay. So Dana Morningstar, let me just explain something.
Okay.
Dana Morningstar is separate from Angie Atkinson and Queen Bean, but we partner here on YouTube for live streams because we just like each other and we're cool like that. But she has her own thing over there, Thrive After Abuse. Lise Colucci, Colleen Brosnan, who else? Misty. That's all the coaches, right? Yeah. Those ladies are with me in Queen Being. They're my partners at Queen Being. Lise does stream with me regularly now, which I like. But and I'm sure Colleen would if she had time. Glad to see her in the chat today. My point is, they are all in Queen Being with me. So they don't have separate groups. We all work together.
We work together. Yeah. When she says my group, she means
our group,
the Queen Being group that I run. So
right.
That's, yeah.
Oh, Lise's group. Lise runs group coaching, which is separate.
Right. That's a group coaching thing. That is it's
a small group coaching. Yeah. To explain to them what that means, because let me first one second. So Lise is an amazing group facilitator. I should probably let her run these streams. Love her together. But
I don't know.
No, you're really good. And so she does a really great job with group coaching. I'm terrible with group coaching, which is why I don't do it. But Lise does amazing work there, and she runs the program there. Colleen also does some group coaching, and I've heard good things about her as well. But Lisa's groups are very, what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Group coaching, which is, please fill them in on what that means.
Which is separate from, we would say group.
Right,
So
right.
it's separate from the big Facebook.
online support group.
Online support group, right.
Right. This is a group
Well,
coaching,
yeah,
small
this is
group.
a group coaching thing where people, it's, you know, it's, I don't know, 10 to 20 people. We meet 3 times a week
Via Zoom.
on Zoom. Each person has a time to talk. The way I run it is it's very, it's like Angie and I sitting here talking, but then all the Brady Bunch squares of Zoom and everyone listening, right? And then I'm like, okay, Angie, cool. So anyone else have something to say? And then someone else might want to talk. And then when we're done with the talking, we're done with the day. So it's one-on-one within a group. So you get to hear other people being coached and then get your turn to be coached. That's how I work them. Seems to work for people.
What people have said to me from that group about this group is that some people actually find it better than one-on-one coaching because they hear the other people's experiences, they feel validated. So
yeah, I think it really depends on the need. And if you don't have an hour's worth of stuff to talk about, but you have an hour's worth of listening, you know, like you want to absorb for an hour, but you don't want to be the one to have to, you know, talk about yourself for an hour. It's great. And, you know, sometimes there's topics, but mostly it's where people are at, like wherever you're at, whatever type of narcissistic person you've had in your life, wherever it falls.
Yes.
So,
and then you have that ongoing chat, right?
Yeah, there's a chat for it on Messenger and Facebook, unfortunately, right now is where it is. I have to move it somewhere off someday. But that's a whole so yeah, we'll figure it out. But
I have some ideas for that. We'll talk about it. Okay.
And anyway, so there's that. And I come in when I can, otherwise it's peer support in there. But I do watch it very carefully.
Yeah.
To make sure that peer support is safe. I mean, I read everything, whether I have time to respond or not.
Yep. Right on. Okay. Now Liz says, can't communal narcissism occur not just in religion, but anywhere in like the workplace, volunteer groups?
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah.
That's
anywhere
what I was trying to bring up. Yeah, is that it can be in work, it can be in a spiritual community, it can be in a social group, anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's see here. I just saw something.
Families.
Thank you, Gigi. Let's see here. Chris is here. Hey, welcome back. Our other, yeah, she might. Okay. I'm trying to catch all the comments here. It was bad. I trust no one now. Yeah, I see it. I see what I understand. Linnell started. I can't read that. I don't know what, I think I'm reading something out of context because that's, oh, okay. I'm a little bit nervous.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Oh, thank you for being tolerant of my of my phone. Yes, it was that one. Okay. Feeling safe should be our goal, but this is Bonnie. She says, feeling safe should be our goal, but when inundated with toxic narcissists, safety is few and far between. Emotional safety, yeah, right? It's yeah. Okay. There's so many. Okay. Red Riding Hood said, I'm hypervigilant now because it keeps happening and I've gotten bullied and I'm sick of it. I get it. We all get like that on some level. You know, you either become hypervigilant and you become like almost a hero type of survivor, or you become hypervigilant and you're scared, depending on how bold you happen to be. You can be hypervigilant and tough, right? Or you can be hypervigilant and like scared. And I tend to be a little bit of both when I have those moments myself, right? Because I'm either, it depends on the situation. It depends on, am I the one being bullied or is it my kid or is it somebody? Because if it's my kid, I'm coming for you. If it's me, I'm going to be scared for a minute, but then I'm coming for you. You know? I have to be reminded that I'm only 5 feet tall sometimes. It's fine. Okay, Lise, any other thoughts for right now?
No, that's not really. That's it. That's
yeah.
the question. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Colleen. Okay. Jack says narcissism is a big problem in the workplace and work groups. There are narcissistic abuse recovery YouTubers, of course, who have discussed that in various groups. Colleen says, don't be so hard on yourself. I think you're doing a lot better than you're giving yourself credit for, according to Jack. I think she said it. I think I missed a thing, but you guys are doing great. All of our mod squatters here. Colleen's also a mod squatter. I don't know if I told you that. She's got the blue wrench. Of course she does. Okay, and then Red Riding Hood says, I need to calm down. Then I thought so. Well, you know what? Here's the thing about that. Calming down.
She needs to calm down her thoughts.
She said, I need to calm down. Then I thought so. And I think she's talking about, I'm not sure exactly which.
Hypervigilance, I think. The hypervigilance.
I think that's what she's talking about. And, calming yourself down is good for you because it affects your adrenal system and all that stuff. And talk to your doctor, all that stuff. But breathing deep helps. Singing, get that the vagus nerve stimulated. That helps with any of this stuff. Singing, cold showers, cold water on the face. What else? Humming, lots of other things. There are lots of things you can do that to start, and then affirmations or redirections of self during the stress. So this has probably saved my freaking life, actually. And I've said this before, but I have to stop and ask myself all the time, can I affect or control this at all? Is there anything I can do to change what's about to happen? Okay. So if it's about to rain, I could cry that all my non-raining things are going to get ruined outside, or I could take them in. Or I could just accept they're going to be ruined. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a lame thing to say, but I can't control the rain, but I could control whether or not I choose to leave my clothes on the clothesline if I ever did sort of put clothes on a clothesline.
If I ever did that. Your linen, your crisp linens, yes.
Yeah, no, but the point being, if you control what you can control and you let the rest of it be what it is, right?
Yeah.
You okay?
Me? I'm great. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just listening. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking about, I was thinking about how I handle hypervigilance. I see it as a symptom of an emotional flashback.
Yes.
Is when I say emotional flashback, I don't mean like you're in the moment. What I mean is you don't know why. Often you're triggered. You don't know why you're feeling this hypervigilance when you're in it. You're just wham, I'm in it. I must have been triggered or I was triggered, but it's not related to the situation around you. So we get hypervigilant about everything that isn't related to like what you're saying is more situational. Like it makes sense if someone's attacking my kid, I'm going to go after that person. Hypervigilant, right? But sometimes we're hypervigilant and we don't like about every little thing. We just get like, I call it like nerve endings everywhere, right? And so there's a few things that have helped. All of the stuff you're saying, which the polyvagal stuff and the cold water and so basically, and then using your logic to talk yourself down. So if you can go towards your brain and use your logic, go into your body and go to the polyvagal system, calm your large muscles, slow your breathing, all that stuff.
Right.
And then get into the emotions last and
give
them some soothing. You were traumatized. I hear you. We're going to calm down now. And we're going to take a minute. Okay. We're going to address these fears, but not right now. And it's that to me is very helpful. I've been working with like a 12-step system that is useful for myself and kind of sharing it with people in coaching. So
well, I've just seen a couple of people, and here's Marilyn right here in chat saying maybe that's what we talk about next week, hypervigilance. I want to say I'm with you on what you're saying. In the moment, for me, what I was talking about with the polyvagal and all that other stuff, that's outside of the moment.
Right.
In the
moment. Yeah.
Right. In the moment, for me, I stop.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go, what's really going on here? I ask myself, and I don't just let my emotions run. I stop for a second and I go, but I feel like this,
right. What's happening?
But then I really do think about it. And if I can't, there have been a couple of times where I knew I was spinning and I said to whoever I was, okay, I'm not going to be okay for a minute. Just give me a minute. And then I would go, calm down and okay, now what's it? Sometimes it takes a minute. It's not like you're going to be it's okay if you can't do it the first or second.
Exactly. Yeah. This is a practice. It takes a while.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's okay. But yeah, we want to talk about that next week.
Yeah, good one. Or that and like what to do when you're triggered. Like what are the symptoms of a trigger?
Perfect.
And yeah.
Okay. All right, Marilyn, come see us next week. We're going to talk about that. Okay. I'm sending you loads of firm virtual. Oh, so sweet. Couple mom. Okay, guys. I think we're going to get ready to wrap up. I think we're getting to time. And Lise, what is your plan for after this? Are you doing the other or
today? I have to go get kids soon, so I will. I'm gonna try and come back I can't have group today. Tomorrow. I'll try and be back tomorrow. I'm over on my channel live at some point. I don't have a time yet, but at some point tomorrow I will be over there live.
Okay, so make sure you follow Helpful Mom's lovely reminders, which will tell you how to get in touch with, to be reminded of Lisa's streams, of my streams, of our streams together. And make sure you subscribe to Lisa's channel, which will be, you know, on the end screen right about here somewhere right now, when this is posted later. But until then, you can check the chat here. And I believe that our lovely admin team, mod squad member, I gotta remember, Helpful Mom, will be posting that information. And thank you to Jack Lumen, and to Christine Schwartz, to Helpful Mom, to Bonnie. Did I miss anybody? To Colleen, all of our mod squatters. Thank you to Redheaded Riding Hood, Ellen C, and anyone else that I missed who's one of our channel members. We appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you all next week. And until then, we love you. See you soon, Lise.
Bye. See ya. Bye.